Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. I'm David, my channel My Yard Sale. Hey, today I want to maybe follow up a little bit on my last post from last week, and I have a couple other things that I want to talk about that I've learned and that I found out with this whole metabolism problem that I'm having and had. So, two things that I found out about that I think are pretty key to turning around metabolic issues, and I don't know if it's exactly nerve related issues or just metabolic, but I keep seeing these two things popping up, and I started noticing this brought up often, talking about green beans and how green beans were healthy for metabolic issues and for nerve related issues. And these are trace elements. And I'm not a doctor, I'm not a healthcare specialist, so I'm not going to be able to really speak to these things fully. So if you're interested, you should check Google. I found a lot of information on Google of where you can get these trace elements and how you can get trace elements. Um, One is chromium and one is vanadium. And I actually found that the uh, the vitamins that I get from Walmart actually have chromium, and chromium and vanadium you can get from dietary stuff. But supposedly these are things that help with metabolic and nerve related issues. So I'm kind of focused on getting my chromium and vanadium supplemented correctly to get the right amount that I need daily. And I'm hoping that this will help me with some of my chronic issues. So chronic inflammation, I want to talk about chronic inflammation. I think I talked a little bit about it this last week. So I've been trying to identify problems and issues that I've had from sugar, well, dietary, I should say. From sugar, and I know sugar is an issue and probably was what started my issues and caused most of my problems initially. Um, but sugar, I thought saturated fat, I thought beef, I thought oatmeal. I even hated on oatmeal. Hot dogs. I mean, all this stuff I thought caused my problems. And I think it all had a piece of it. But I think my problems have been chronic inflammation. And even now, I don't completely understand exactly what that means. But somehow there's some inflammation in my system that, like, there's a lot of things that spark it off. Like, if I eat too much sugar, I can feel it. My hands get like really dysfunctional. I don't know if you just heard that snap, but my bones start snapping a lot, and my hands get very stiff and very hard to use. But so I think that I have been dealing with and probably dealing with for, I don't know, 10 years chronic inflammation. And the more that my chronic inflammation, and what I believe I do have chronic inflammation, the more that flares up, things get more difficult. Walking gets more difficult. My hand flexibility gets more difficult. Um, like, things just get more difficult. So I'm trying to figure out how to reduce chronic inflammation both through diet and through supplementation and just daily health habits. I'm trying to stretch more. I'm trying to get a little bit more structured exercise that I think maybe will help with that. Um, and yeah, and I'm taking these cod liver oil supplements that increase omega 3s, and that supposedly helps with chronic inflammation too, which I had been trying to use. Um, I've been trying to use um, tuna packets, like and sardines as omega 3s, which I think is a good way to do it. But the problem is the tuna packets that I get end up having 600 milligrams of sodium, and the sardines I think have, I don't know, 400 or 500 milligrams of sodium. And the sodium, I think, also caused me problems with chronic inflammation. Going back to when I started talking about hot dogs, like I know hot dogs are garbage, and the nitrites and all the other crap that's in hot dogs, I'm sure that was an issue for what I was experiencing. But there's so much sodium that I'm realizing now that the sodium could have caused a lot of those problems. And even though everything that I watched when I started realizing that I was having diabetes, it said to eat a lot of sodium. And I'm not going to say that you shouldn't, because we do need an amount of sodium, but there is a daily amount that you're supposed to get, and it's easy to overget that because there's so much sodium in so much food. And then if you try to salt your food on top of it, thinking you need more sodium. And at one point I was even drinking salt water, which probably maybe was the right thing at the time, but maybe not the right thing. So I think that my problem, a lot of it, especially lately, has been chronic inflammation. This last cycle that I had where I could barely walk, barely get out of off the floor into bed, that had a lot to do with, I think, sodium. I was eating those Walmart sausages, and I was just eating some sausages, and I know that I know that they're not healthy, but they are meat, and that's kind of the way I was looking at it. And I was hungry. I mean, I needed to eat, but there's so much salt in those things that I was eating that I think that the sodium just somehow fired off the chronic inflammation in my body. So right now I'm going to talk about my current diet, what I'm eating today, trying to eat today. I started eating this, and almost immediately my it started getting a little bit easier for me to get around the house, and just walking got a little tiny bit easier. Like my legs started getting a little bit better almost right away. I'm still having these problems with my arms and my hands where the inflammation is like they aren't locked up, but it is difficult. Like trying to walk around with a dish in my hand. I had to buy plastic dishes. I had to buy these see if I can reach this. I had to buy these plastic dishes from Walmart because I drop them so many times that I was breaking all my dishes, dropping them on the ground. And so I had to, yeah, it's crazy. Anyways, so I'm taking these cod liver oil supplements, and I'm hoping that plus some of the other stuff that I'm doing will help. I am doing fasts, and I had to do a longer fast this last time because I felt like I had some real chronic inflammation that I needed to get out of my system. And it did seem to work. But even when I start getting back to eating, I have to make sure that I'm eating right to not fire that chronic inflammation right back up, which is the right thing to do. I mean, it makes sense. It's stupid for me to think that I'm going to be able to eat some kind of garbage, even though I want to. Like, there's nothing that I'm looking forward to more than the day when I can sit down and eat like just a good amount of cookies, or sit down and eat something without worrying about whether I'm going to be able to walk across my bedroom or not, or get into bed at night or not. Like, I'm looking forward to getting to that point. So currently my diet right now is I am eating a pretty good amount of ground turkey, which I don't hate it. I like it. I have this seasoned salt stuff that is actually very low on salt and mostly more on seasoning, the garlic and just a bunch of other stuff, which is very good on it. I enjoy it, and I can eat a pretty good amount of that. Not probably getting up to the amount of calories that I actually need, but a good enough amount where I'm actually full when I'm done eating it, which is nice. So I'm eating turkey, some ground turkey. I'm eating some chicken. I have some chicken thighs that I need to get into. I just need to get them thawed out. And one thing that I'm actually kind of enjoying that I'm eating is raw beets. And I know raw beets probably doesn't sound that great. I know you can buy, like, I don't know, pickled beets, and you can buy canned beets. And it's not that I don't have time for that. I just have a hard time opening the cans and getting the cans worked, and then I have to figure out where I got to get the trash put away so that I can get it out of my, get it out of my living space. But raw beets, I can eat raw beets, carrots, and celery, and actually enjoy it. There's no garbage to get rid of besides maybe a couple plastic bags, and I actually enjoy them. I don't know if you've ever eaten a raw beet. It does taste a little earthy. Obviously, it's underground. It's an underground vegetable, but there is a sweetness, and it doesn't taste horrible once you actually eat a raw beet. I can eat a raw beet like an apple, and once you eat it, maybe you acquire the flavor. I mean, the beet is good, and then there's a lot of health benefits to eating raw beets. There's the what is it called? Nitric. Um, what is it? There's the nitrates in it that helps your body. It helps your body. I'll just say that. The nitrates, the nitric acid or nitric. What is it? Nitric something. The nitrites in the beets are very good for you. It helps your body just heal. So I've been eating these raw beets. I am fasting, but I'm not fasting to lose weight. I'm not fasting for anything else except to get autophagy. I need to get autophagy in my system like on a pretty regular basis. So I will fast for 18 hours a day, and I'll eat 6 hours. And in that time, I can eat whatever I want in the 6 hours, which is quite a bit. I mean, I can eat a lot of ground turkey in 6 hours. Ground turkey, beets, and and I'm enjoying eating sweet potatoes. And I will eat potatoes too. I need the potassium. So I'm eating sweet potatoes. I'm eating I'm eating pretty well in those 6 hours. I will eat ground turkey until I'm full, and then I eat ground turkey with the sweet potato, and I can eat it till I'm full. So that's my fast lately, is I'll eat in 6 hours a pretty good amount, maybe even a half pound of ground turkey, and a sweet potato, maybe even 2 sweet potatoes if I'm really hungry. And then inevitably I always end up eating a tortilla with something, and that's obviously not really healthy, but it's a little bit more carbs that I could probably use in my body, and it gives me a little bit more calories throughout the day to try to get me some calories to maybe start trying to get some weight added back onto my body. So lately, the weather where I live, it's funny because I always complain about the weather, I know, because it's usually freezing cold and very uncomfortable. And now I've had a couple of days where it's actually been kind of decent. Well, it's been decent. The funny thing is it'll be 70 degrees outside, but unless I open up all the windows, it's still 60 degrees in my house. Because my house is, I don't know, it's old. I guess maybe it's insulated okay, except for when it's cold. It gets cold in here fast, but it seems like it stays cold for a long time. Seems like it. I don't know. So, yeah, everything is going okay for me. It's not been easy. I wouldn't say it's been impossible, but I am starting to get around a little bit easier, and that's good news. I'm happy about that. Like that fast that I did, it did seem to help a little bit, but it wasn't like completely, like totally noticeable how much better I felt. Although I was getting around my house a little bit better. That's the thing that I find that's either the easiest or the hardest, is getting around my house. And I am getting around a little bit better. I noticed that when I felt the best in the last probably 6 months or 8 months, it was when I was eating when I was eating ground beef patties pretty frequently. I was eating a couple a day, and I was eating those probably maybe a meal or 2 meals, maybe even 3 meals a day. And I felt great when I was eating those. It just sucks that now it's so expensive. I can barely afford it. So now I'm trying to figure out how to manage my finances and be able to afford to eat regularly like I need to. It's crazy. But yeah, I felt really much better when I was eating those burger patties. And I'm hoping that getting into these chicken thighs will make it a little bit easier for me to get around and keep me a little bit healthier. I'm trying to stay hydrated. At one point, it was difficult for me to get even from this seat to the kitchen or to the to my bathroom to get water. Not impossible, but difficult to say the least. So yeah, I'm trying to get hydrated and stay hydrated. Now, I don't really know exactly how it works, but I guess the more when your body is well, somehow your body can grab a lot of carbs or sugar and attach a lot of water to it, and your body will retain a lot of that water. And that doesn't help you hydrate. Even though you go to the bathroom a lot, which seems like maybe you're hydrated, when your body's getting rid of all that water out of your system, that isn't the water that you drank. That's not you pushing out that water. That's different. So when you go to the bathroom a lot, when you're on a fast or you're starting to eat healthy, your body is going to get rid of a bunch of water, and you have to replace it. And a lot of times you have to replace it with salt and potassium to get that salt and potassium back into your system. You know, I would have never known that, and it doesn't make sense. It does make sense now, but now when I go to the bathroom, I try to drink like a cup of water to try to replace the hydration in my body, because I know that the water, what I went to the bathroom wasn't what I drank 2 hours ago. That's coming out of my system, where my body's trying to get rid of the stuff in my system. So salt and potassium, I talked about that a little bit a minute ago. And what I learned about salt and potassium is very interesting, and I think that if you've made it this far into this video, this may be interesting to you. If you eat 300 milligrams of salt, which is not too much for the day, but it's quite a bit in one sitting, you should try to get 300 milligrams of potassium. And you can eat, well, the potassium helps your body deal with the salt, with the sodium. And I don't know exactly how that works. You can go onto Google and figure that out. But somehow, if you eat as much potassium as you eat sodium, it helps your body resolve the sodium out of your system, and it makes your body work a little bit better. Now, I know that the sodium in my system caused me a lot of problems, and I don't know exactly how that works. I know it has something to do with, well, I don't know exactly what it has something to do with, but I know that the salt in my system caused a lot of problems. The more salt that I ate, the more difficult things got. Like, I was doing pretty well for a while, and then I started eating sardines, and I was eating a can every couple of days, and I didn't realize how much sodium is actually in sardines. But the sardines that I ate, they must have been loaded with sodium, because the same day or even the next day after I ate sardines, I was having physical problems that just didn't make sense. I mean, I was eating sardines. They're supposed to be healthy, and I was trying to eat healthy. But the sodium in the sardines just wrecked me. But so potassium and sodium, if you eat, whatever you eat in sodium, you should eat the same amount in potassium. And I have found things that I can eat that do have sodium, so I'll be able to get sodium into my system, but it has equal amounts of potassium that will help my body manage the potassium a little bit better. So I was talking about hydration. Yeah, just because you drink a cup of water doesn't necessarily mean that you're hydrated. Your body has to be hydrated with obviously the water, but your body has to retain the water and use the water and not just push it away into your cells because it's connected up with carbs and sugar. So I was talking a lot of time about glycation. I think I definitely experienced glycation, but I'm thinking that it was less glycation and more just chronic inflammation. And that's why when I talk about doing fasts, I'm trying to reduce that chronic inflammation and potentially get rid of the glycation that I might have built up, which is quite frankly quite a bit, considering the fact I had such a, and still do have quite a sugar problem. I have a little bit of a situation with sugar. Yeah, so I'm just trying to get things moving in the right direction. And since I cut down on the sodium, like a lot, I'm starting to get a little bit more exercise. I'm eating mostly a lot of protein. It seems like things are getting a little tiny bit better. I'm just looking forward to being able to physically get around my house a little bit easier. And I'm trying to push myself to do it, but I have to be very careful. I've fallen down so many times that not all the times like when I pancake smash my face on my hallway, but just I'll get walking halfway across my house, and depending on what my metabolism is doing, I'll lose the energy to get even one more step, and I'll end up having to go down to the ground, and half the time I'll end up landing on my butt, which is good because whatever's left of the my butt cheeks, which is very little. I mean, I've got a very bony butt, but I end up on my back sometimes, and my tailbone. I've landed on my tailbone so many times, it's a little bit sore. I'm trying to be a little bit more careful and getting around. I'm trying to take my time a little bit more, but I'm hoping that this. I know that when I had some problems where I hurt myself before, a longer fast actually, I don't know if it helps me heal it or what exactly it does, but it does seem to help when I have physical problems, when I have injury related problems. The fast does seem to help. So I'm hoping that this fast is going to help deal with that whole tailbone thing, because that's a little bit difficult. It's been a little bit tough. It was probably, I don't know, a month ago, 2 months ago, I was walking from my bathroom to my bedroom, and it was dark outside, and I tripped a little bit on the carpet in my bedroom, and I landed right on my chest, right on the side of my chest, on the corner of my headboard, or my footboard. I don't know what you call the headboard at the bottom of your bed, your footboard. And I at one point I thought maybe I broke it, which I'm thinking that I didn't. But after I did that, I did do a little bit of a longer fast after that, and it did seem to help. These fasts do help. I guess depending on whether you're eating right or not, they do help resolve some of these physical problems and help deal with injuries. Now, I would never have believed that before, but I've actually seen that happen, and it has helped. But yeah, so staying hydrated is a little bit easier for me now because I can get from my bedroom to my bathroom a little bit easier to get water. I'm trying to keep a little bit of water on my nightstand to be able to drink it whenever I want it and need it. Yeah, I would like to talk about news and other stuff outside of what's going on with me, but I just don't know enough about it to actually have a decent conversation, I think. So I'm not going to talk about those things. I am looking forward to it getting a little bit warmer because, like I said, it was 70 degrees a couple days ago here in New York, and in my house I still have my heat on inside, not the whole house, but like where I'm living, the part of my house where I sit mostly, I have heat on, and I have an electric blanket that I still use because my house inside seems to be staying at like, I don't know, 60 degrees, which I think those of you that are in Florida that have 88 degrees, you'd probably love 60 degrees. Well, 60 degrees isn't comfortable when you're in shorts and short sleeves. I don't think it is. Of course, I'm from Florida, so I may be a little bit of a wimp with the cold. If I'm wearing like this kind of thing and pants or or even any kind of pants, sweatpants or whatever, that temperature isn't such a big deal. But if I'm rolling around in shorts and short sleeve shirts, 50 and 60 degrees temperatures in the house, it's pretty uncomfortable. So if there's any questions that you have on anything that I talked about today, do me a favor, leave it below. If you have any questions or any comments, I'm open to those things. Leave those below as well. If you're subscribed, thank you guys so much. If you've sent me notes or notifications, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. It does make my day, and I'm thankful. All the subscribers, thank you guys so much. If you have watched this till this, if you've watched this video to this point so far, maybe consider subscribing if you're not subscribed. I will be talking more about my health and other things that I found out about. Again, vanadium and chromium are the two things that I mostly looked into this last week that was the most interesting thing to me. And also, I should say, beets. Like, I think eating raw beets is probably a good idea. You can eat the beet greens. It's all very healthy. It's more healthy than celery or carrots even. It's very good for you. And that's the other thing that I really enjoyed since the last post that I made that I've enjoyed is eating beets. I can eat a beet like an apple, which is kind of funny. It's not really delicious, but it's not gross. Anyways, hope you guys are all having a great week. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.